David Knight is back with another video about this Roblox game, Sonic.Exe The Disaster. I am going to share my thoughts and suggestions, so let's start the review. If you don't know what Sonic.Exe The Disaster is, it is a survival game where as a survivor, the objective is to survive until a green ring spawns around the map and go through it. Occasionally, you will encounter the EXE and will either have to dodge the EXE or stun them as a character you can attack with. If the EXE depletes your health, you'll be knocked out and have to be revived by another player. You can only get knocked down once, as the second time means you will die, but have the option to respawn as an EXE and try to kill other players. The role of the EXE is self-explanatory: kill as many survivors as possible. The EXE has multiple abilities such as grabbing and invisibility. Now with how the game works out of the way, let's talk about my thoughts on the game. Starting out with some of the positives, one thing I really like is having multiple characters. They really balance out the game and create different strategies. For example, Tails can stun like Knuckles, but does range attacks, which is hard to do, but very satisfying. Another thing I like about the game is the atmosphere and tension the maps create. The maps are very well designed and are pretty creepy to travel around, and the developers did a good job at setting the mood of the game. Another great thing about the game is that respawning as an EXE instead of having to spectate provides the player with something to do until the game ends, which is unique to other games. Finally, the ability to vote for maps was added in an update, so I'm glad they're doing updates to improve the game. Now that we covered the positives, let's move on to some complaints I have for the game. One of my biggest critiques for this game is the fact that there's almost nothing to do until you have to escape. Sure, some of the maps have gimmicks, like when you have to turn on the light occasionally in Kind and Fair, but it's not really enough, and I found the game to be the most fun when completely ignoring escaping, and instead going after the EXE, constantly fighting it, and dodging it. The game also has two modes, being Hardcore and Hemorrhage, but there's no option to vote for them in the lobby, so that's another flaw I think the game has. And one last thing, the game lacks any replay value without anything like a shop system to buy skins for characters or even an XP system. I am aware that the badges are being added to the game, but I hope other things will be added too. Overall, Sonic.Exe The Disaster is not a great game, but it's fun enough to play with friends and sometimes alone. I would not say it's bad, but it does fall flat compared to other Roblox games. The game deserves the rating of 6.5 out of 10. Before I end the video, I wrote in the title that this game does need major improvements. So let's list some of the suggestions I have for this game. Obviously, there's the fact that there should be some kind of objective to complete in the map. Now, I'm not saying it should be like Piggy where you are required to do these objectives to escape, but rather something like Banana Eats and Bear, where in those games, there are puzzles you can solve that lower the timer and give rewards. Of course, the exact way those objectives work may not work in EXE The Disaster, but there still should be something else to do. Something else I would like to suggest is a shop system for buying character skins, as well as a level system that gives rewards for leveling up along with quests. These things would solve the issue of lacking replay value and give you more things to do in the game. Finally, this might be controversial, but I think games could work very well if the EXE also had a health bar. It would add much more strategy to the game, and finding the EXE could pay off more. Now, for those of you who are against this idea, I'm going to bring up Shark Bite. The shark in Shark Bite has a health bar, but it can be really difficult to kill the shark. The only time it's actually easy is if the shark is just not attacking anyone and it's going somewhere random, but it is still balanced out. In EXE Disaster, with how difficult it can be to perform stuns, as well as how the EXE can kill you in 3 hits, and the fact that not every character can stun, this could balance out the game more, and allow for more strategy. And that's my review of the game. Now, I am aware that at the time of making this video, there's another update for the game that's coming out, and there's even a testing place for it. But I wanted to focus on the current version because it is the one that's intended to be the actual game for now. Of course, if there are any errors I made, then let me know in the comments. With that out of the way, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.